All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making up plays. We talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays. They working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
All right, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to the ASAP Afternoon Blitz, Friday, August 4th, 2023. I'm Chris Gonzalez, joined by Mike Hughes. How's it going, Mike?
Hi, Gonzo. How are you?
Not too bad, man. Not too bad. We'd be doing better, but your damn Cubs put a whooping on my Reds the last 3 days.
3 of 4, baby. 3 of 4. We're 2.5 out of first, 2 out of the wild card spot. Oh, Gonzo. I'm sure Atlanta's going to break my heart today, but I'm enjoying it.
I think we're a half game out of first now, which
I think you're tied. It's weird. I don't know what makes Milwaukee higher than you guys, but you guys have the same record.
They have the tiebreaker against us because they have pretty much owned us during the regular season this year.
Oh, was that? Oh, hello, sir.
I think we're 3-8 or 3-10 against the Brewers this season.
Watch what I'm about to do. Wait for him to put on the headphones. Watch what I'm about to do. I'm gonna get it.
We haven't had luck at all.
Hey, bro. Hey, sir. Aren't you a Dodgers fan now?
No.
Oh, that's what I heard. That's what a rumor was telling me.
I did get mad and say that when they traded Castillo.
That's fair. Oh man, but yeah, man. I mean, it's just a great time right now. They just came out with it. Most runs scored since the All-Star break. The Cubs are at 1 with 150, and in second place is the Dodgers, and they only have 109. So, and to be real, if we're being honest, the only reason we're in first right now is because of literally the last 3 days putting 20, 16, and like it's but it's a great time. It's a great time to be a Cubs fan.
No,
it can end very quickly with this Atlanta series. So I will be humbled this weekend, Pops. Don't worry.
It could, but also it may not. I mean, there's been teams that got real hot before and won the World Series, so you never know.
Oh, Pops, I want you to know right now, you better stay off Facebook if we beat Atlanta. I just want you to know I'm going to be a menace. I'm going to be a horrible individual. I'm going to be coming for – remember Landon? Hey, man, I don't want to see Landon wearing no Cubs jerseys. I don't want to hear no conversations about it. Stay over there with the Cincy boys now. That's y'all boy. I'm over it.
Yeah, I heard that.
He's a Cubs fan, man.
No. He told me the other night. I told him it was the first game. Y'all beat us 6-5. I was pissed because I was there too. It's the only game they lost was I was there. It must have been my fault. But Landon said, gotta rock out with Cincy. Immediately after, boom, 20 runs. Boom, 16 runs. Boom, 6 runs. I said, hey, bro. He goes, bro, go Cubs. I said, nah, bro. Stay over there. That's cool. It's cool. Don't worry about it. Stay over there.
Yeah, the Reds are a half game back of the Brewers because we have one more loss.
I did want to ask, I'm happy Pop's here too, because I kind of wanted both of your opinions on it because you kind of had similar stances. Does this kind of change how you felt about them not making a move at the deadline?
I wasn't surprised they really wouldn't make a move at the deadline. I just didn't think the way they was trying to build their club and they thought they were going to be ready in 2024, not 2023 to compete.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think they would make a move unless just something fell in their lap they couldn't, they couldn't refuse.
Right.
And that didn't happen.
I thought they might make a move, but I think the reason they didn't is when you saw what the market value was on some of these pitchers, like that aren't great pitchers, but even like of course I'm gonna forget his name now. But the pitcher that the
Cardinals.
no,
I'm gonna go crazy for you. You got Scherzer, Verlander, Flaherty.
Well, look what Verlander.
No.
I mean, Verlander got a number
I'm trying to
one.
remember what team took got the White Sox pitchers. Got Giolito. Was that the Rangers?
Oh, the Angels.
Angels.
The Angels for
You look at that
Giolito and
deal,
Lopez.
Angels had to give up their number 2 and number 3 prospect for like Giolito, who I'm not saying he's not good, but he's also not like a number 1 starter. He might be maybe a number 2 starter at the best.
You know, Pride and I talked about that yesterday, and I wished you were here because I wanted to talk to you about that. Is it really like, okay, so when I look at that, right, you gave up your number 2 and your number 3 prospect. Now, imagine we are the worst sports network in the world. Absolutely horrible. Everybody who's on the show is trash, but Mike, Pops, and Gonzo are the top 3 prospects. It doesn't mean we're good, right? Like to me, like when you look at the Angels and you look at those top prospects, the second one, who's their second top prospect, has a 7.70 ERA this year. It don't mean he's good.
Yeah.
He's just their third
Yeah.
best. You know what I mean? So I think if the Reds would have made a move for Lucas Giolito, I think it would have been in their top 20 of the farm system. I don't think it would have been closer to anything of top 10 because the value just wasn't there.
But to answer your question, though, I still like what the Reds did. They added a reliever. We needed a left-handed arm, and he's pitched pretty good. I mean, even last night he pitched pretty decent against the Cubs. Really didn't give up anything.
Yeah.
But we needed the left-hand reliever. But other than that, I didn't think they were going to make no big moves because the team is so young, and I think they're ahead of where they thought they were going to be at this point this year. They didn't think this is where they would be. So I think they kind of want to see how these young guys finish the season out, and then I think next year, kind of like what Baltimore did last year. If you look at Baltimore, they started to make that run before the trade deadline. Everybody's like, are they going to be buyers? Well, actually, they were sellers. They got rid of Mancini and a couple other guys, and then this year they've been. I should have brought up Mancini.
That's a bad word.
Yeah, I should have brought up Mancini.
He's gone. We cut him off the team. I'm okay with it.
So it really don't bother me that they didn't make no big move just because with the young team that you have and not really having that leadership, you don't know what's going to happen the second half of the season. Hell, it could go the totally opposite direction than what it did the first half because you're starting to reach points where these guys have never been. Like Andrew Abbott, our rookie, who's been our ace pitcher. He's reached a point now where he's thrown more innings now than he ever has in his career at any point, minors, college, anything. So you don't know how his arm is going to react the rest of the season. Even these young rookies, are they going? Is Spencer Steer going to be able to keep hitting almost 300 the whole season? Same with McLean and these guys. So I kind of like what they did. See what you got before you go just trying to add pieces to make something better. And sometimes you can ruin your chemistry of your team if you start adding too many or the wrong pieces.
Yeah, and to your point, like Lucas Giolito is definitely one of those guys that he's got an ego to himself. He's kind of just that Hollywood type energy, but it's weird. It's weird because Pops and I have talked about Baker Mayfield before. Hollywood energy, but not Hollywood performance. And I think it's super hilarious when you see a guy who can't perform well, but acts like he's top dog. And then, the Verlanders and the Scherzers of the world, I think they bring an aura to them that kind of just messes up the young mentality of this team and messes up that, hey, we're here to have fun. Those guys are kind of like the time is ticking. They won a championship now, and you guys are really just trying to focus on developing. The same with the Cubs. Like, to be completely honest, Pops said it yesterday. He was talking his ish. I heard you, Pops. He said that a couple weeks ago, I was like, this team is trash. And they were. And I think the big part of that was the 6 through 9 in the lineup just isn't complete. And that's really what it is. Pete Crow Armstrong, Matt Mervis, all these other guys, Kevin Alcantara in the AAA right now, they're just not here. But you bring in Jamer, and it allows guys like Talkman and it allows guys like Morel to be able to be on the field all at the same time. You get Trey Mancini off the roster, off the team, just gone into the wind overnight. Just killed him. Gone. Bye. Pack your bags. I don't know where he's going to land. I think that could still be interesting. I think he could figure it out at some point. But it's not here. So that's cool with me. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun, man. And I think the Cubs made some great moves. The one I wanted to see either the Cubs or the Reds get, and it ended up being the Brewers, was Andrew Chafin, especially for the Reds, that lefty reliever arm. Chafin's a stud, and I would have killed for him to be in a Reds uniform because he would have loved Ellie De La Cruz. He would have loved Joey Votto. I mean, I don't know if you guys know the stash, but he does it, man. And he's pushing. He's a heavier set guy. He drinks beers before the game. Like, he is literally old school MLB baseball. And speaking of old, here's Pride, the man with the broken back. Pride, how we feeling, baby?
Spinal. How you guys feeling today? Just being a menace, bro. I'm just being a menace to society.
I need that on your soundboard. Spinal.
Let me find it. Dude, Lord. The stuff I do for Michael, am I right?
Man, come on.
I'll tell you what, the rest of the baseball season, the second half of the season, I think has the potential to be one of the more exciting second halves that we've had in a while. Because you look at like the National League, everybody's bunched up. There's a lot of teams that are going to be fighting for that wild card spot.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
I do want to go ahead, Pride. My bad.
Go ahead, Michael. No, go ahead. I'm not worthy. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I wanted to ask a question. I saw last night, obviously, the Angels versus the Mariners. It was crazy ending.
Oh, that fucking game.
Whoa.
Hey, Pride, it was valid.
Wait,
it's valid.
wait,
it's
no,
valid.
no, hold on. Chris, do me a favor.
Watch your profanity.
This is a family-friendly show. We cannot be doing that stuff, okay? This is family-friendly.
But check it out.
Shit, man.
Shohei Ohtani hits his 40th of the year, which is crazy because I feel like he just hit his 30th like 2 weeks ago, which is absolutely
Swear to God.
insane.
I swear to God, a week and a half ago, we were talking about 30 and how great it was. Yeah, and all of a sudden, now we're talking 40, and I'm like
Frankie is shaking right now because he thinks that Ohtani is going to break Judge's record the very next year. And I know that's the only thing Frankie has going for him right now, so I don't want to see that happen. But with that, man, you see Ohtani very emotional, kind of almost going to tears when they pan to him. It just like kind of choked up about the loss and after the grand slam. What do you guys see in that right now? Pride and I talked about it a little bit last night on how, hey, Pops, we know you love it here. We want to show you we can win a championship. So here, we got Lucas Giolito, and he gave up 9 runs in his second start in 4 innings and gave up 6 in his first start. So, I mean, the exact opposite of what you said you were going to do.
It's kind of funny because we were talking about it, and it was like from his first to his second start, all the good numbers you want go down. So like his innings go down, like his strikeouts went down, and then everything else, like the bad numbers you wanted to stay down, go up. And it was by far the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
And it's like, but like you have these conversations, right? And we sit here and we thought, maybe they go out and sell the farm for Max Scherzer. Maybe they go after guys like Verlander, Flaherty, and they end up or even another bat, because I still think that offense still has some holes in it with Trout out. And Rendon is just boo-boo. I mean, it's just what it is. So I wanted to ask you guys, like, where do you think Shohei's mind is right now outside of the MVP race and just like what's going on currently with the roster?
I think he's mentally checked out, to be honest with you. Like, Mike, we were talking about this yesterday. Like, he's just like, look, I'm out after this year anyway. But it's like, me personally, if I'm in his position, at this point, I can't expect any different.
Right.
I've been here long enough for them to make any type of moves. The moves they make just don't pan out, or they're just stupid. It's always one or the other, right? For example, when they got Rendon, I mean, people thought it was kind of a reach, but you can sort of kind of justify it because he came off some success in Washington, right? Like, but regardless of what Rendon is now, when they got him, he was coming off a relatively good year, right? And then he comes, and it's but he just injured, right? He just really can't get he just can't get his footing, right? I just think Ohtani's just at a point where he's just like, I'm going to leave. I just don't want no one to hate me.
Yeah.
I think that's where he's at right now. Like, he wants to leave, but he's like, I just don't want anyone to look at me different because I've done everything I could. I literally made them change a rule because of how good I am. Don't tell me I'm not trying to do what I can for this cesspool of a disorganized franchise. I did what I could. I came from Mike Trout, and if we're making jokes about Anthony Rendon, Mike Trout's even worse. Mike, we were talking about it yesterday. Mike Trout is like a senior citizen now.
Man.
Buddy's looking like me after my car accident, bro. My man can't move for nothing, bro. He's like
nothing.
You know what I mean? So it's
Right.
like, I just think Ohtani's already mentally checked out. He's like, look, I'm going to give you everything I got so that way y'all don't yell at me and y'all don't say I'm selling or whatever the case may be.
Right.
But again, it's just a good thing that after this year he can go. Now I will say this: if Ohtani re-signs with the Angels, I'm gonna give him the Damian Lillard treatment.
100%.
Where I love you, but I'm not gonna feel bad for you because
Right.
you already know what's gonna happen. And if you put yourself back in that situation, you deserve it.
Yeah, most definitely. I think when you have those conversations, and I'm a big Dame guy. I've always been a big Dame guy. You know, Dame time, you love him, man. And I even still got his signed pair of Dame sixes that I have in my room that I met when I met him during All-Star Week in Chicago, and it was so dope. And you love his energy, and you love who he is as a person because you know he's really a people's person. You know, he's the man of the people, and he's somebody who understands what it's like growing up playing ball. And it's that conversation though of that loyalty, that understanding of I'm loyal to you for no reason. And I think that's the craziest thing in the world. And I think it's something that, you know, to get further in relationships and life and work, whatever it is, like people tend to think, hey, you gave me this opportunity, so I owe you everything for the rest of my life. It's the complete opposite of what it should be. Like, obviously you're grateful, but I mean, you give them an MVP, you've given them Cy Young performances, and they just have failed to give you success around you over the last 4 or 5 years. So I think when you look at that and you understand at the end of the day that you got to do what's best for you. And Ohtani had conversations about, I mean, he let $200 million walk away just to come to the MLB. He was offered over a $200 million contract in Japan to stay there. And it wasn't a long deal. It was like 4 or 5 years. And he decided to come here anyways. You came here for a reason. And it's definitely to play at the highest level and to play real October baseball, which Mike Trout has done, once in his career in the entire 10 plus years that he's been there. I mean, it's just not, it's not what it's cracked up to be.
Played in the playoffs? I didn't even think Trout played in the playoffs.
I think he had one series in the playoffs ever. I think it was one of his first years they made it to the playoffs, and that was it. I don't think he's ever had a playoff win, though.
Where do you think Ohtani ends up when he leaves?
You know me, Pops. He said, hey, Chicago, what do you say? Nah, I do think Chicago is a big one, mainly just because we were the second option for Ohtani way back when, and the only reason that didn't transpire was because we didn't have a DH. We didn't have a place for him in this lineup. We still had Rizzo, Bryant, Baez, Schwarber and company in the outfield. Castellanos, who ended up going to the Reds. But, you know, you look at that and you say, now you're in a position where the Cubs can pay these guys. Now we have an MVP caliber player in Cody Bellinger. We have Dansby Swanson. We have pillars of guys who are going to win and who know how to win. And right now, if the Cubs make the playoffs, I mean, they have more of an argument than the Angels do. They have a top 3 farm system. They're already in the playoffs. You wanted to come here anyways. But outside of that, I think I don't like the Baltimore conversations because, one, I don't think the market is good, and I don't think that's where he would get the best value. I also have never seen Baltimore pay somebody over $300 million, nonetheless 5. And I think that's kind of going to be what takes them out of it. Pride had a good one yesterday, the Toronto Blue Jays. I mean, he's already left Japan. I don't see why he would have a problem leaving America. So I think that's a good one as well. And the Dodgers, I think, you know, it's just they're going to be in the mix because they're in the mix.
I was going to say the Dodgers.
By the way, Mike Trout has been to the playoffs. Once in 2014, got swept by the Royals.
I told you, just never won. He's been there though.
It's
like he's a wallflower.
When you get swept, it's almost like he wasn't there anyway.
Yeah,
so.
He's a wallflower, man. He went to the dance, but he just kind of hung out and watched everybody else get some.
I think it's going to be the Dodgers. I think that is where Ohtani's going to end up. I think that's one reason why you didn't see them. They kind of cleared out some space over last offseason and really hadn't made a whole lot of big moves this season.
Mhm.
I think they have a good shot at getting Ohtani in free agency.
Can I ask Gonzo? I want to just everybody. I've been watching Freddie Freeman the last few days because Pride and I said something about him last night. Just took a shot at him. It was hilarious. Kind of just like he's in the league and we understand he's in the league, but you don't see a lot of Freddie Freeman highlights. You don't see a lot of them, going on unless you're a Dodger fan. But I'm looking at his stats right now.
If you look at his numbers, he's killing it.
Is he one of the best hitters in baseball and just not being talked about?
Easily. Here's the thing, right? When you go to and it's the same thing as the Yankees. When you go there, no one cares.
Right.
I love Freddie Freeman. When he went to the Dodgers, as soon as it came out, I can't remember if I said it on the show, I was like, I officially don't care about Freddie Freeman. I just don't. Like, I don't know what it is, but it's the Dodgers and the Yankees. Well, the Yankees I hate with I wish nothing but bad things. I hope one day the organization, like, I swear to God, I hope the next time they have a game, it all shows up, everything gets packed, and then just randomly on the loudspeaker, game's canceled. I hope for inconveniences to them, right? I don't know what it is with the Dodgers, but I got this weird hatred for the Dodgers. I don't know why, but a lot of people have this same hatred for them, where if you go there, no one cares. And I feel bad because Freddie Freeman is having an MVP caliber year. Like, he really is. And I feel like if he went anywhere else, everyone would be kind of drooling over it. But sometimes when you're part of certain organizations, nobody cares. And it's not just one or two, but it's just like a consensus thing for some unknown reason. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the same thing with Mookie Betts, right? When Mookie Betts first went over to the Dodgers, he was raking and not a single soul cared.
Yep.
I cared because I was like, yo, bitch, you should have been doing that over here, right? But again, that's just me. But the baseball community, no one really cared because it's like, you're on the Dodgers. Right. Which is weird because when it comes to recognition, they get treated like they're how Arizona was a few years back, or how Miami was a few years back, or Baltimore back in the day when they had Chris Davis. You guys remember that? That motherfucker was getting paid, but donk zillion dollars, and Buddy was like, yo, let's make you a DH. We'll do something with you. And my man went like, what was it? Like, how many games was it straight that he went with no hits? Yeah. What a legend. I hope that record never gets broken. But I genuinely believe it's just when you're on some teams, people don't care. And I think right now the Dodgers are in that kind of thing where nobody cares. Like, think about it. Nobody cared about Trevor Bauer going over there until, he decided to try to one-up Deshaun Watson, right? Like, when that happened, then we cared.
I think with the Dodgers, one reason people don't care is because that division's been so bad, and usually the Dodgers have had that division wrapped up by way before the All-Star break over the last few years. So a lot of people, unless you're a Dodgers fan, just kind of don't keep up with the Dodgers till it gets playoff time.
I mean, it is true.
We don't have a battle in that division.
Right. And that's true because think about it. Like, up until last year, because last year was really, it was only the Giants really that kind of was there. So, I mean, like, up until last year, it kind of really was fast forward to playoffs when it came to that division. So
100 games last year.
The Dodgers.
Yeah, and so did the Giants.
They kind of remind me of the Green Bay Packers in the sense to where you run in the division for so long that people just kind of don't bat an eye to it. It's kind of just expected. So when teams like the Lions, when teams like the Giants, and teams like the Vikings do make this jump, or even the Padres, everybody starts jumping on them. Everybody wants to see somebody else take the crown, and you start to have those conversations. But I think it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with the Dodgers, because you are starting to see a very lackluster performance from them. And I think, are the dogs going crazy right now, Gonzo?
Yeah, the dogs are going crazy. I'm watching a wrestling match over here.
But but I do think at the end of the day, you're really starting to see a Dodger team that, like you said, they have a bigger plan right now, and I'm curious to see what that is. And I think it's Ohtani, because at the deadline, you could tell they're not all in. you could tell they do not care. I mean, you bring in Lance Lynn and Joe Kelly, and that's cool. But it's like Lance Lynn has been dog shit all year. Lance Lynn has been horrible the last 2 years. And then you look at Joe Kelly. Joe Kelly's solid, but you can't have a reliever if you don't have a lead. You know what I mean? You can't close out a game if the door is wide open and these guys just pump 20
Joe
runs.
Kelly, isn't that the one that missed the net practicing one night and threw the ball through his window of his house?
Joe Kelly's the biggest savage in all of baseball.
Oh, God.
He would
I
be
don't care what.
treated as such.
Listen, I'm gonna say this right now. When we had him, I liked him. I loved him when he made Carlos Correa have a mental meltdown at the plate when he was like, when he started making that face to him. Ever since then, I'm gonna get a Joe Kelly jersey. He is my Steven Adams,
Dude. 100%.
Mike. If you know, he is my Steven Adams. Where like everyone is like, it's just Steven Adams. I'm like,
I love
yeah,
Steven Adams.
it's Steven Adams, right? Like that is my Joe Kelly now. Joe Kelly's my Steven Adams, bro.
My love for Randy Jowers will always is my first month even knowing him. And when Steven Adams, he's big Memphis fan. Steven Adams picked up, I forget who it was on the Bulls, but I think it was Troy Brown. He picks up Troy Brown like he's a baby, just
Like
picks him up like a toddler. And Randy made it into a T-shirt and sent it to me, and I wear it all the time. And Bulls fans are like, "Why are you wearing that?" I'm like,
you don't understand.
Steven Adams, bro. Like,
yeah. And it's crazy too, because like I remember one time like there was like a fight. It was when he was in OKC, and Willie Cauley-Stein. He like it was at the time where he was trying to go like he was a tough guy, and he desperately as hard as he could try to push Steven Adams. And while he pushed Steven Adams, he went backwards. Steven Adams does move, and he looks at me and goes, "You're good, you're good." And I'm just like, yo, that scared me, and I'm not even in the same state, bro.
Right.
And that scared me.
It's terrifying. If Steven Adams walked up to your wife right now, Pride, and said, "You're coming with me," what are you doing?
Yes, sir. What else would you like? What else would you like? I'm signing over parental rights yesterday, bro.
Dude, swear to God. The
My
kids'
Jason
last
Momoa,
names are
bro.
now Adams.
Bro, I will pay for it, bro. You're rich, and I will pay for them to change their name, sir. What else would you like on this fine day?
Oh, man. But no, man, I do think, to that point, you're starting to see them not go after guys. You heard that they were interested in a guy like Verlander, but I do feel like a big part of why they didn't end up with Scherzer or Verlander was that, they didn't want to take on that money. And they also didn't want to give up their top prospects for that. Mm-hmm. So I feel like when you look at that, and like when you look at where these guys ended up, Drew Gilbert obviously going to the Mets for the Houston Astros. But on top of that, Pride and I talked about it yesterday, that was why the Mets were willing to eat the money. You gave a number one prospect. The Dodgers have an amazing farm system. Like when we're talking about the Angels 1 through 3, they're whatever. You look at the Dodgers 1 through 3. These are guys who have been in the all futures games for like the last 5 years. And the only reason they're not up is because Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman are in front of them.
That's it.
Like and Bobby Miller. Oh my God, Bobby. It makes me remember that Bobby Shmurda song, but I'm not going to swear on here. But Bobby.
What's your profanity?
100%, bro. But I think the conversation to me right now for the Dodgers is our World Series is getting Shohei Ohtani in December. And I honestly feel like that's where they're mentally at right now. They're checked out for this season. If they win a playoff game, cool. If not, that's even better because now we're going to have a better draft pick and we're going to get Shohei. And that's really where I'm at with it. I don't know if you guys feel the same way.
I mean, not necessarily. Oh, go ahead. Oh, because I was going to say real quick, I necessarily don't agree only because, look, you can't bring in a guy like Freddie Freeman and then already have a stacked roster already, bring in Freddie Freeman, and then go, it doesn't matter. Let's just go bring in Ohtani. That's just my only thing. Like, you already have a stacked roster. You have to go out there and win another World Series. You know what I mean? But
right. But I think a part of that is also like when you look at what's happened, Walker Buehler getting Tommy John and just Kershaw not being healthy. I think there's a lot of things that have led to this point. You know what I mean? Like they didn't go into this season feeling that way. But I feel like it definitely started to transpire the more they start missing guys like Justin Turner, the more they start missing guys who have been such a big part of this offense, a big part of this team.
Wait, who are they missing? Who?
Justin Turner.
And where is he?
He's losing every single game he possibly can.
Whoa, we're over 500. Do me a favor. My nuts, clean them, then lick them. Thank you. Mr. Gonzalez, you would say something over there, Chief?
Wow.
I was just going to ask you guys, of course, I want the Reds to be in the World Series, and I know Mike wants the Cubs to make the World Series, but legitimately, who do you think are the favorites right now if he was going to pick one from the National and one from the American League?
Oh, brother, man, you should hear what Mike said yesterday about that. I want the consistency. Say it. Repeat what you said. Who you think is representing the AL in the World Series?
Oh,
Listen
yeah.
to this, man.
So yeah, I don't care. I'll say it. I think Baltimore goes to the World Series.
This
I really
fucking
do.
guy.
I don't think
Oh
they
my
win,
God.
but I think they go. I think they can. They made a push. I think they have all the veterans in the world. They have all the young stars. You bring in Jack Flaherty. You bring in a bunch of other the kid out of Oakland. I mean, you're bringing in some great pitchers, and you already have the offense. I think if they can get hot, I think they can go tick for tack with just about anybody. We talked about Houston. I mean, Houston for the first 3 months of the year hasn't been Houston. You know, you bring in Justin Verlander kind of as your like Hail Mary, hoping it works.
Bring back Verlander after he left.
But how is Houston now? Remember, I'm gonna use your line. Yo, what's my name? Right here, right now.
Right here, right
okay?
now.
And they Houston go over 60 wins. So our nuts lick them. That's why I'm a Houston fan for this segment. I'm a Houston fan for this segment now.
Oh wow.
Yep. Listen, I'm still a Red Sox fan, but for this segment, I've been hired on retainer by the Houston Astros, bro.
Nah, but I do look at the NL.
Didn't they lose last night to the Yankees?
Chris, why we gotta talk about old stuff, man? This is a new day. Come on.
Here, right now.
Yeah, right here, right now, bro. We're not talking about what happened on the 3rd. We're on the 4th. Come on.
It's a new day.
No, but I definitely do have Baltimore coming out. I just think they're one of those teams, kind of like Philly. Like they're just going to shock a lot of people. If you look at them and you look at their run differential and you look at what they can produce from a pitching standpoint, I think you have a great roster. And I think led by Brandon Hyde. I love Brandon Hyde. I think he's an amazing. It has nothing to do with him being a former Cubs bench coach. I don't care, but it's definitely something to where I've seen him be able to have all these guys on his roster, and I think.
But it was in Chicago, right?
Adley, and when he was in a bunch of places. You know? But no, out of the National League, I think Atlanta is still that team out of the National League that you just kind of have to look at. And I hate saying that because you look at them last year and saw how Philly just found their way in there, but. And I told Pride this yesterday to remain consistent. I think if you look at this Atlanta team versus the year they won a World Series just a couple of years ago, I think this team is better than that team. I really do. I think what Matt Olson has been able to do in replace of Freddie Freeman has not only beaten what Freddie Freeman was doing for them, but he's kind of exceeded that. And he's kind of, I mean, he's just having a phenomenal, not to say he's better than Freddie Freeman, but the season he's having right now with the Atlanta Braves is phenomenal. And like 26, 27 home runs on the year right now. I mean, Ronald, and here's the key difference. The year they won the championship, Ronald Acuna Jr. wasn't even there. Right now, he's the MVP. He's the MVP of the National League. And that's, I mean, come on, we're talking over 50 stolen bags. We're talking over 30 home runs. Like, that's the season he's having. And I think right now, and that's as it sits, he definitely could clear 60 bags by the end of this year. I mean, you got a month and a half left. Like, let's run it. Let's ride. Like, we ride at dawn. I'm a guy who steals bags. I love it. I'm going to see that man on Cops after this game running with a third base bag, just chilling. Like, Ellie De La Cruz and him are just in the joyride car, just going off with bags in the back seat. You'll love to see it. Lord. Joe Kelly's like, wait. I'm like, fuck out of here, Lord. Joe. We got your bag, baby. What are you doing about it? But I do think Atlanta comes out, and I think they beat a very young team in Baltimore. And I think it's a sweep.
Rod, what do you think?
So, for the NL, same thing, Atlanta. I mean, not only that, but Spencer Strider seems like he's getting better. Like,
Cy Young.
Like last year he set the record. I think it was 200 strikeouts. I think it was like he was the fastest to get there. This year he broke his own record. Like that's just like that's what he's doing right now, right? Like, dude is just spitting on jokers, bro. Just like I spit on my fault. Oh. Anyways, see, the AL is where Baltimore is now, like, delusion. And this is why I said about the whole Chicago thing, because yesterday, Mr. Gonzalez, I wish you guys were here, because if you guys were, you would understand my frustration, right? When he was like, oh, yeah, Baltimore can come out, he led with, Brandon Hyde, yo, he used to be Chicago, right? Back then, when Chicago, yo, I swear to
Yo,
God, that's
listen,
how
bro.
we started, bro.
Brandon Hyde is a 2016 World Series champion. He was the bench coach in the World Series. He understands what it takes to win. He understands what it's like to win. And I'm sitting here with David Ross, who has his thumb up his ass, just being told what lineup to put out. So, yeah, that's how I feel, Pride. I wish I would have had Brandon Hyde. I wish I had him right now. Because instead I got David Ross, who, after being a player, decided he was going to go on Dancing with the Stars, lose Dancing with the Stars, and now he's just an active manager in the MLB. So, yeah, Pride, I'm a little shitty. I'm a little butthurt. Honestly,
your team could have just signed David Bell to an extension.
I'm just saying this, Chris. I'm just saying this. Right? Baltimore is like
okay, but so who's coming out, Pride? Who's coming out?
In all honesty, I genuinely believe Texas is gonna come out the AL. I really do, bro. Like, listen, why are you looking at me like that? Why look at that? You said Baltimore, okay? Curb your enthusiasm.
Wait,
okay?
let me do it again.
Curb your enthusiasm. Yeah, and that's how you look when you pick Baltimore. Okay, that is your brain right there, bro.
I love Baltimore.
Listen. Anyway,
I can't wait till the playoffs, bro. We're gonna fucking shit on Baltimore.
Oh my God, we're gonna see. Because listen, I will take any team over Baltimore,
bro. I promise you right now.
I'll take the Yankees over Baltimore.
Pops, write it down. Write it down right now. Pops, get a pen.
They're not making it. Listen, the only reason why they're gonna make it out of the wild card is just because they're gonna accidentally win the division. They're gonna win by default because they won't play. That's it.
If Baltimore beats Texas,
no, they wouldn't even get there. They wouldn't even get there.
Sir, can I? Pops has a pen in his hand. Can I?
Go ahead.
Pops, I want you to write it down. Mark the time right now. Okay. I will go all the way to South Carolina, knock on Pride's door on the following day that they knock out the Texas Rangers.
Okay.
And I will laugh in this man's face.
I'll accept it. And I'll accept it. I won't even get mad. I'll accept it. I will stand there and accept it.
Like this. Look, Pride will be sleeping. Look, camera's off. Pride's sleeping. All you hear. Hello. Housekeeping.
And I'll accept it.
And I'm gonna go, Brandon Hyde, baby, Brandon Hyde,
and I'll accept it. I will accept it.
And then I'm just gonna leave. I drove all the way there just to say Brandon Hyde, and I'm gonna leave.
And then he leaves. That's it. I will not even argue with it. I will 110% accept it. I will.
That's the same two teams I picked yesterday when he asked me that question on our sports betting show was the Braves and the Rangers, Texas Rangers.
Can I ask though, like what? Okay, so I like the Rangers a lot. I'm not a hater. I'm not trying to like make a Baltimore. I'm just like genuinely though, when you look at that roster, the way I was talking to Pride about this yesterday, I would have loved if they would have gotten Justin Verlander. But they got Scherzer. So my question is, by the time October rolls around, one, does Scherzer stay healthy? And two, is he going to be a shell of himself, or can he figure that out and somewhat become who we know he can be? Because it hasn't just been this year. It was a little bit towards the end of last year where you started to see him fall off, started to see him a little bit more injured. I mean, you're starting to see a Max Scherzer that's on the decline. And for a Hall of Fame career, it's expected at this point of his life. But, do you see him being who he was? Because they're going to need him to be.
Okay. So first and foremost, did you not just see him strike out 9 in his debut?
And that's cool. But I'm asking.
So hold my nuggets. Hold my nuggets.
Man, see, you're acting like I'm hating. I'm saying by October.
Mr. Gonzalez, is he not hating?
Am I hating? I'm asking.
I wish they got Justin Verlander.
I get to be the referee.
Pops, you hear what I'm saying though, right? He's had injuries the last 2 years. Can he hold up by October? Because right now, Jacob deGrom was a stud with them too. Couldn't hold up. Like, you're bringing in guys who are the best pitchers in baseball.
Okay,
but they can't stay on the field.
Sure, it's unfortunate. I get that.
Do you think it holds up?
Yes, I do, necessarily speaking, because then when they come back, guess what? You're not asking them to be the 8th because you're forgetting they have a guy on their roster. You probably never heard of him, Mr. Gonzalez, Chris. You guys have probably never heard of him. His name is, Nathan fucking Eovaldi, who's been shitting on the league for like the past 3 years. What are we doing here?
You know what's crazy?
He's going to put him as the 8th, and now you're going to – Go ahead.
It's absolutely crazy because now you're making me wish bad on Max Scherzer. Like, now I want him to break
No.
I hope. No, Pride.
That's you, though.
I'm gonna go. You get to go on a rant. I get to go on a rant.
Go,
I
have your
hope
moment.
he
Have your
puts a
moment.
paper cut on his tongue. I hope
So
he walks outside
disrespectful.
and he sprains his ankle stepping
You're
on the
foul.
last step of his stairs. I hope
Bet.
he sprains it. I hope
Bet.
when he puts his hand in the mailbox,
foul.
it gets stuck in there.
So
and it can't
foul.
come out, and it won't come out until November.
You guys
And
hear
that's
this, man?
something that just is going to
And the-
happen.
Oh my! You know
Reason
what? No.
I don't worry about Scherzer that much going into the rest of the season is because the Rangers manager Bochy. I think he does a good job at managing.
Thank
pitchers.
you. He
No,
does.
no, don't say thank you. Don't say thank you because you
No,
just
big- no,
yell.
big-
You
no.
just yell. All you do is yell.
No,
Tony and Pops
Go ahead.
give me real answers. And
I
all
gave you. Hold
do
on, no
is-
time out. I gave you a
He's
real
yelling.
reason.
He's yelling.
Hold on, no. You
Dad's
don't get to do
yelling
that.
again.
No, you don't get to take the same shortcut that each and every one of y'all take when y'all get lazy
Hide
and y'all run out
under
of
the
stuff to say.
bed. Hide under
I'm
the bed.
saying no.
Dad's yelling.
I'm saying just because you don't like my delivery
Mom and
doesn't mean
Dad
you're
are
gonna
fighting
ignore what
again.
I'm saying. That no, because I'm telling you the fact that you're out here trying to make it seem like they have to rely on Jacob deGrom and Max Scherzer to consistently pitch 9 innings. And I'm telling you, they have an ace in Nathan Eovaldi who can do that. So you have other guys who can help them. So that way they don't have to come out and throw gems and masterpiece after masterpiece after masterpiece anymore. You don't have to have them do that. You can help limit that. And I was going to go into Bruce Bochy, but I'm not allowed to because you get in your feelings. Oh my God! It's like I'm talking to Rob Scott. Every time I get a Rob, you just yell.
Robert out of this.
You just
I miss
yell.
Robert.
You just yell.
Wait a minute, Mike don't like Bruce Bochy?
I like Bruce
No,
Bochy.
he doesn't like Max Scherzer. That's what it is.
I love Max.
He's an undercover hater of Max Scherzer. I'm convinced at this point.
I am just saying the fact.
Okay. So why is it that when I tell you my facts, they don't matter?
Because you yell. I'm not yelling.
But no. It doesn't
You're
matter.
yelling again. You're
It
yelling
doesn't.
right
No,
now.
Chris, let me ask you a question. Chris, Nathan Eovaldi is a great pitcher. Hey, Chris, Nathan Eovaldi is a nice pitcher. Chris, Nathan Eovaldi is a great pitcher. Does the statement change no matter what decibel I'm saying in that?
The attitude that you carry with.
I don't give a flying for doodle snake about no attitude, bro. I'm sassy. My mom told me I'm a sassy little boy. Okay? You don't outgrow that. Try to tell me, oh yeah, it's Baltimore. It's Baltimore. What?
It is Baltimore. It is Baltimore. It is.
But he probably ain't gonna like my pick. I'm not picking Baltimore. I think it's gonna be the Braves and Tampa Bay.
Like
I'll
Tampa.
accept Tampa. I'll accept Tampa.
I like.
I
Tampa
will
a
accept
lot.
Tampa.
I like Tampa a lot. I think Tampa's weird, bro. I just feel like they're one great trade deadline away from just like going over the top. Like I truly feel that way. They just don't.
But what
spend the
position
money.
though? Like what do you? I mean, clearly it's not pitching, obviously.
I think it is.
But
Can I be real with you? I
really?
think it is. I love McClanahan. I love Glasnow. But I
Wow.
feel like you're missing that. To your point, Max Scherzer in his debut, 9 strikeouts. And you're like, okay, like that's our ace. Like that could be the guy that carries this next to Nathan, obviously. But you're looking at that and you're going, we have a 3-headed monster. When you face a team like Atlanta, you can have 2 really great pitchers, and that's cool. But it's a 5-7 game series. Like we got to figure this out, and we got to be able to take those other games because these guys can only go once every 5 days. So I think they have the offense for it. I truly believe they have the offense for it. They have the best, not the best, but they have a great up the middle defense. They have Wander Franco, who just hasn't really lived up to it. You said what, Franco?
They also have Eflin, who's a pretty good pitcher as well.
That's what I was about to say. I think he can
when
kind
you
of be
when you talk October, I'm like, you need that, like that over the hump move. Like, why haven't they been able to get back their sense? And when they did get there, why did they get beat? You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of different levels to it. And Cashman's a part of why they got beat. Yeah. But another part of that was obviously Blake Snell's departure and him leaving. And they haven't really been able to replicate that and make that something beautiful. I mean, when you had those 3 guys there, it was a beautiful thing. Glasnow obviously went down with injuries the last couple of years. He's been the healthiest he's been in a long time. You love to see that for him, but I would have liked to see them go after a guy like Marcus Stroman or Justin Verlander or Shohei Ohtani or somebody along those lines, just to kind of get over that hump, because you know they're not going to get it in free agency. They never really have been that kind of guy that can get it in. They just don't. They don't sign free agents, or at least big name free agents, you know, and it's which is weird because if I was them, I definitely feel like it's just a financial thing, kind of like Cincinnati just not wanting to pay people. Because I would go to Tampa. Pride, would you go to Tampa? I have no problem playing in Tampa. I think it would be dope.
It's hot, but I'll go. It's hot, Daddy, but I'll go.
It's hot and it's not as STD ridden as Miami, so I'll go to Tampa.
I mean, yeah, you're right. But I will say this, though. I do think they do have that third guy that can handle October in Zach Eflin. Now, Grant, I think he can handle it. Now, mind you, I think Taylor Glasnow is going to be the number one dude.
Right.
I think we all agree there. Heading into the postseason, he's going to be their number one.
I
think Shane is going to be their number two. I think the 1-2 punch, I think they got that solved. I really do think Zach could be the third and maybe even be the number two, because I'm looking at a guy, 12 wins on the year.
Yep.
He's got a sub 3.5 ERA, right? His whip is 1. And I'm looking at a guy who, in terms of batting average against, he's at a 230.
Right.
Which, again, as your third guy,
solid.
That's your third starter.
That's what you would love. You would love to see these numbers from your number one guy.
Right. But I think when you look at it, here's how I'm looking at it, right? And this is what I love about when you talk about championship baseball, because to win the division, this is a roster that can do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like this is the roster that can do it. And I think they're not going to get better than this, at least right now. But when you look at that and you look at the Atlanta Braves and you look at the Dodgers and you look at all these other teams, when you look at the 1, 2, 3, right? It's not going to guarantee a win with one of those starters. Like Glasnow, let's say Glasnow shits the bed, right? Glasnow shits the bed game 1. Okay, now all you have is McClanahan, and you hope that Zach can continue to be that guy in this kind of level. And that's something that completely changes once you get to October. So to bring in a guy who you've seen do it before, a Scherzer, a Verlander, a Stroh, an Ohtani, who we haven't seen do it before on that level, but I would bet my bottom dollar that Shohei Ohtani is ready for playoff baseball. I mean, we already saw what he did in the World Baseball Classic to Mike Trout. So lulls, but you love to see it. But it's definitely something where I felt like you need everything you can get, because you understand that I like this roster. I think it's a solid offense, but we've also seen times where, they go from winning the first 9 games in a row to being very quiet from May to June. And they started to heat up again towards the end of June, and they become one of the better offenses again. But it's definitely something to where I haven't seen a lot of those guys in the playoffs before. A lot of them. The majority of that roster I have not seen in the playoffs before. I have not seen go to the World Series. I have not seen with that experience. So to bring in another arm just to say we can. You know what I mean? Like in their top 5 farm system, they have 3 guys in their top 3 that are third basemen. All in the top 3 of their top 10. Why do you have all 3 of them? Like you could have dumped 2 of them for something. You know what I mean? And these guys, Curtis Mead was a guy I was talking to Pops about. Curtis Mead was somebody I was looking at. The number 1 prospect for them's name is Junior. He's a third baseman. He's 19 years old. He's an absolute stud. They think he's the next Ellie De La Cruz. He's an absolute animal. Their number 3 prospect is also a third baseman who's number 30 in the entire pipeline in the MLB. Why do you already have a third baseman in the majors that you're not wanting to move right now? So why do you have third baseman up the ass just sitting there? You should have made a move. You should have did something to bring in these guys. It would have been interesting to see them even bring in a guy like Josh Bell, Jake Berger. You saw Miami do it. Just bring in something that's going to say, we're doing this because we can and because we want to. It's just to solidify what could potentially happen. And say you have Justin Verlander on this team. Glasnow shits the bed game 1. Cool. We got Verlander, McClanahan, and then we got Zach after that. So there's 4 guys right there that you can be confident in. Outside of Glasnow and Zach and McClanahan, you really look at that entire pitching staff and say the bullpen's nice, with the rotation in a 6-7 game series, it's gonna be tough, especially against the Braves. If you were to get to that point.
But I don't think that's necessarily being fair, because now it makes it seem like what you're trying to imply is, in order to survive, let's say a 7-game series, you're now trying to imply that, you need 7 aces.
Right.
Which is
you need one. I think you need one solidified guy who's been there. For that example.
Which they have.
No, but here's my thing. You know what I mean? Like producing to that level and being that guy who's won a World Series is so important. And I feel like when you look at guys, I always bring up the Cubs, but it's a perfect example. Jake Arrieta won a Cy Young, right? Never won shit, though. Kyle Hendricks was second in Cy Young voting in 2016. Never won shit. John Lackey, amazing. He won with the St. Louis Cardinals. You bring in John Lester out of Boston. These are guys who have been there and know how to win.
Okay.
The rotation is cool. They've been there. Glasnow has been there. McClanahan's been there. My problem is when you look at that offense, I don't think that offense can compete with teams like Houston. I don't think they've been there. And it's unfair to say that because I don't know. You have to you find out when you find out. We'll know when we know.
Right.
You know what I mean? But for that sake of argument, to make sure you don't have to find that out, you bring in another arm, you bring in another big bat, and they just didn't.
I don't know. I don't know, only because offensively, yeah, they're not. Let's not get twisted. Offensively, they're not stellar. They're not phenomenal, but they're not bums either. Let's also not try to push that narrative either,
No.
Because
It's October baseball, baby. Like anything happens. You know, the Phillies go on a run and they end up being the hottest team in baseball in October, and it's like
right.
You have to prepare for those things, though.
Exactly, but at the same time, it's like they also. This is what makes Tampa different than every other team in the league. If their offense is slow, they can survive that. Because look at their pitching. And Mike, we were talking about it yesterday. Their pitching is deep.
Right.
It's
but
deep
can
now.
you survive that against a team like Atlanta?
Yeah, we've seen them do it.
I don't think
we've seen them do it. But
Mike, 7-game series though. You know what
Mike,
I mean?
We've seen them do it. With our eyes, we've seen them survive droughts offensively.
Right.
So, and I'm talking about the year that they went to the World Series. Like, think about it. If they don't, not necessarily though, because some of the core is still there.
There's a small fact.
The only core player who left that's going to be very detrimental would be Blake Snell.
Right.
I think that right there with Blake Snell being gone, okay, that's one thing, right?
Right.
But other than that,
right.
I'm gonna just again, Randy was still there, Wander was still there, and you're saying that Wander is kind of hasn't been. I think Wander was there.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody fact check me.
He wasn't.
Somebody fact check me. Yes, he was. Somebody fact check me.
I know for a fact he wasn't.
Somebody. Okay, you don't know for a fact because Chris fact check me.
No, I do know for a fact this kid came into the league last year or 2 years ago.
Who?
Wander Franco.
But he played before then. Somebody fact check me. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I apologize.
It's okay. You're wrong.
If I'm wrong, I apologize.
When did the Rays go to the World Series is the question. That was 2020.
Was it 2020? Oh, you have it up right now?
Yeah. And then Wander Franco, born in 2001. His first season as a rookie in 2021. So he came the following year.
Oh, so he came the following year. Okay. So, I'm not going to find I won't count him because even though he was he was still in the pipeline, that's still kind of different than actually being there consistently enough to be labeled as them. So, I apologize.
He was in the pipeline. Yeah, so we're like 300 other guys.
I was trying to look up Eflin's numbers for the Phillies last year in the playoffs.
Yeah, for sure. I'm looking at Atlanta Braves versus the Rays this season. They played a 3-game series. Hey, the Rays took game 1 and it was great. And they win 10-4. That's cool. Mm-hmm. But then you look at the rest of the games. The Braves win 6-1. The Braves win 2-1. The Braves win 6-5. Like you're looking at that, and they took 3 out of the 4. And I think you have to start to have those conversations with yourself, and you start to realize, again, pride, I hear you. Like, I believe they have enough to get there, but they've already been there and lost it before. I think the mark for me right now, if I'm that front office, is we got to win that bitch.
So from what I'm getting from you, Mike, you don't think there's anybody that's going to be able to beat the Braves?
And it sucks because I hate doing that because there's people last year who were like, the Dodgers and the Padres no one can fuck with them. And then here comes Kyle Schwarber just slinging dick and Brandon Marsh just slinging dick, going crazy, absolutely phenomenal. And it's like, profanity. So sorry, but it's true. It's true. We talked about it last year, and it was like, there's always going to be that team that knocks out the big dog. You know what I mean? Like teams are so star driven now, but that chemistry that just clicks. It's phenomenal. And it happens like the Cubs right now. Pride, before you came in, we talked about it. Since the second half, the Cubs have 150 runs scored, the most led in baseball. Second to that is the Dodgers at 109. And you look at those rosters and you go, there's no way the Cubs are dogging them right now by 50, lapping them like crazy 3 times. And it's like, that's what comes down though to teams getting hot. And My problem with Tampa is I've seen this team get hot and I've seen them get cold a lot. So to have that extra piece that I felt like it could have been a bat, it could have been a pitcher, it could have been an arm, it could have been something. It could have been Brandon Hyde. It could have been something.
I can't stand you.
You have Baltimore. So you have Baltimore coming out of the AL. So where would you rank Tampa Bay in the American League? You think they have a chance to get out of the American League?
I definitely do. Baltimore was like I like to have fun picks. And Pride, I told Pride this yesterday. Like I'm not backing down from what I said. I'm taking Baltimore, but that's because I want to have fun. You know what I mean? Like if Baltimore wins and I'm right, I'm gonna be having a great October. I'm gonna be going crazy. Me and Pops.
But you're not, so it doesn't matter.
I'm gonna be on the phone every night with Pops.
And you can key it up. You can key it up. You can key your way to an apology when Baltimore gets smacked and they get humbled.
Gunner on your head, baby. But
listen, I'm saying this right now, and I'm saying this.
No, I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear it. I'm muting him.
Anyways, I'm saying this and I'm a Red Sox fan. No one from the AL East is making the World Series. Let's just get that one out the way. No one from the AL East is making the World Series.
Why is that?
Brother, have you seen our division?
Bro, I have, but I'm just curious to what you think makes them different from other teams.
So this is honestly my thing. When it comes, I look at every team in the AL East. There's a flaw there that's too critical, whether it be offensively or defensively. And then I look at other divisions. More specifically, I'm looking at the teams that are winning their respective divisions.
Right.
And I just see a more complete, more balanced, more disciplined baseball team from the perspective of actually playing and managerial duties. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. From the AL East, you name me one manager that is better than Bruce Bochy.
From the AL
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. That's it. You lost. You can Google all you want. Google all you want.
I have one.
Who?
Brandon Hyde.
Okay. Anyways,
that's what he was going to say.
Manager of the year.
I should have seen it coming. No, he's not. Not even close.
He's the manager.
Not even close. Not even close. Anyways, as I was saying, folks, I'm rudely interrupted by Mike.
You asked me a question. That's not rudely interrupting.
No, God, but I cut you off. It was a rhetorical question, sir. Anyways, I can't yell for it. I get yelled at. Anyways, the way I look at it, I just look at from the AL East. Sure, I do like Tampa. I do give Tampa a better chance of making it than Baltimore. But if you're talking about,
I can respect
right. But I'm talking about from the AL East as a whole.
Right.
Nobody in my division, I cannot comfortably say you can do it.
I will bet my left nut that somebody from the AL East will beat somebody from the AL Central, though. It's still not the worst division, though. It's still not the worst.
No, hold on. I'm not saying it's the worst division. That's not what I'm saying.
No, I'm
not saying the actual division.
At least
I'm talking about if you look at the teams.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh no, don't get it twisted. We're for the past 4 or 5 years, we've been the most competitive division in all of baseball, right? But for me, I just look at, like, for example, right now. If you look at how the playoffs are shaped right now, it'd be Baltimore, Texas, and Minnesota each winning their respective division, and then the wild card will be Tampa, Houston, and Toronto.
It'll be who would it be in the AL East?
Anyways, it'll be Tampa, Houston, and Toronto in the when it comes to, like, the wild card. I like Toronto.
I don't,
but I genuinely see that's the team right there. Like everything you said about Tampa, you should have said that about Toronto. I was telling you yesterday. We were
talking about that yesterday with DeYoung.
Yeah, if you put Shohei in Toronto, in my opinion,
crazy.
Toronto would be the favorite.
Crazy, yeah, that would be insane.
They would be the favorite, and they would be a prohibitive favorite.
That's why I get mad at Toronto, though, man, because it's in Gonzo. I want your opinion on it. How do you feel about Toronto? Because you've seen this young core play together for quite some time now. It's roughly 3-4 years you've seen them play together between Vladdy and Bo and George and company. But like, at what point do you look at them and say, you're not the young kids on the block anymore? Like, you got to start doing something. You got to start winning. I mean, we saw them get shattered by Julio Rodriguez last year. And that's like absolutely crazy because they had all the opportunities in the world to win that series. They had the pitching, they had the bats, they had the record, they had the home field advantage. They had it all. So at what point do you start looking at Toronto and saying, like, is this ever going to work?
Yeah, I think it's starting to get close to that point, because if you look at Toronto, they're kind of like to me, the San Diego Padres are kind of turning into what the Toronto Blue Jays have been the last few years. You got all this talent on paper. Everybody thinks you're going to be a contender, and it just, for some reason or another, it never comes together. And now you're starting to see that with the Padres. I mean, on paper, all the talent they have, you would think they would be a contender, and they haven't been. And I think that's been the same way with the Blue Jays. How many years, the last 3 or 4 years, has there been guys on these shows thinking the Blue Jays are going to be one of the top teams in the American League?
We were talking about that last year, remember?
I was saying they were winning the World Series.
It seems like it's either injuries or they just underperform. But well, even with the Angels, I mean, look how many times we've said with the Angels, they have talent on this team, but then injuries or for other reasons, Trout not performing or Rendon, or it hasn't panned out. And I think the Blue Jays are in that category where, and like you said, these guys are getting older. So I'm starting to get to the point where I don't know if they'll ever make that breakthrough with this group.
Right. And Gonzo, who is because we spent so much time arguing at Pride today, who is your World Series picks?
I was the same as Pride. I had the Braves and the Rangers.
I hate you both so much. I can't.
No, shut up. We spent too much time letting Mike talk. So, Mr. Gonzalez, who you have going to the World Series?
Man, you know what, Pride? I'm going to tell you something right now.
I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to Mr. Gonzalez.
Oh, are you?
I
Sir.
said,
are you talking to? Because we already
Tampa Bay and Atlanta.
Yeah, we already asked him that. He already told us that. So
guys, as of right, if everything ended right now,
Mm-hmm.
the Orioles, Baltimore would be the number 1 seed, and you would have.
Look at my face, bro.
They would play the winner of Tampa Bay and the Houston Astros, and you would have the Rangers playing the winner of the Twins and the Blue Jays. Rangers got a pretty good setup there. If it ended that way.
Rangers sweep. Whoever Rangers sweep. That's crazy.
National League, as of right now.
The National League, they sweep Minnesota. I don't think they sweep Toronto.
The National League, the Braves would play the winner of San Francisco and Philadelphia, and the Dodgers would play the winner of the Milwaukee and Cincinnati. As of right now.
So Dodgers has a sweep.
I like that setup for the Reds.
But then again,
Reds played the Dodgers good.
I don't like playing Milwaukee.
I don't like playing the Brewers because we suck against the fucking Brewers. But
I'd rather play San
Brewers suck in October though. So
I was about to say, in October, all of a sudden, Christian Yelich goes from MVP to just where he at,
nowhere. You know what's crazy to me though? It still always plays in my head when Christian Yelich got injured. The Brewers made the playoffs, and the final play that sent the Nationals to go to the World Series was in right field. And it was a play that Christian Yelich, I know for a fact Christian Yelich is making that catch 10 times out of 10. Mm-hmm. And this buster just whiffs it and loses. And it's crazy. It leads to them winning a World Series. And I think that's really what October is, man, is the best ability is availability. And when you look at teams like Toronto and you see Bo Bichette, you don't know what's going on with that. You hope he's coming back, but you hope, you have questions, even the Rays.
I think they put him on the 10-day IL?
Yeah.
But even then they're kind of like nervous that they're going to have to put him out even longer.
It was nervous enough for you to bring in DeYoung. And I think that's something you pay attention to. And when you look at the Rays, Glasnow's been banged up. McClanahan's been banged up. All these guys have had issues. And even with Baltimore has had situations to where, guys aren't in the lineup every single day. And Jack Flaherty, you just traded for Jack Flaherty, who's an ace with the St. Louis Cardinals. Why was he traded? Because he can't stay on the field. And Randy Jowers will be the first one to tell you that. The dude's an ace, but the dude's on your IL the more than he is on the mound. And that's really what it is. So I think it's going to be really interesting.
But Chris,
if he's on the IL more than he plays, he's really not an ace.
Chris.
Exactly, though. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I'm so glad, Chris.
Yeah.
He'll let that Jack Flaherty trade look like it was a god tier move. But let's kill Max Scherzer. You kumquat.
I just killed Jack Flaherty. I just killed Jack Flaherty. I'm keeping the same energy.
No, you're not. You saw how it was. You saw how nice it was, Mr. Gonzalez. He was traded only because he gets hurt. But now, meanwhile, we're gonna slander the great name of Maximilian Scherzer.
I wasn't slandering him. I was just saying, do you think he can keep it up? Like it's
Scherzer,
just, it's like I didn't say I could think Jack could keep it up. I think it's going to be very 50-50 for them. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it's going to be shit. And I think right now
Scherzer is going to shit on the league. Watch, he's going to destroy everybody. Watch. And then when that happens, I'm just going to be I'm going to be here in my easy chair going, how the turntables. Right?
It's how the tables have turned, you fucking dumbass.
How
the turntables?
You swallowed kumquat. It is a reference to The Office. Michael Scott said it.
Go back to school.
Kumquat.
Go back to school.
You bruised pineapple.
Hey, next time you drive the school bus, you should get out with the kids and walk in. Maybe you'll.
Bro, you look like a plum that's been dropped on the floor. Stop talking to me right now.
Dude, I look like a mop that got dirty under the table. That's what I look like. But
why? Hold on. Why I gotta be dirty? What are you trying to say? Me being dirty? What are you trying to say?
I look like a mop. I said I look like a mop. I'm being defensive.
Damn. My setup failed. My fault. Take it back.
You getting so caught up in your wife bullying you, man. You think I'm bullying you? I love you, Pride. I'm here for you, Pride. I wouldn't do that to you, Pride. Okay. Greg made a comment. Greg from Red Kingdom said, "Don't sleep on the Astros. They have a chance of going back to back." Pops, because I'm tired of looking at Pride. Even just his name just pisses me off. But how do you feel about the Astros going back to back? Do you think that offense can hang? Because you see the pitching hanging. Do you think the offense will be the same as it was last year?
No, I think if I was going to take my top three in the American League right now, I would take Tampa Bay, Texas, and Houston 3. Baltimore would be 4. And the only reason Baltimore would be 4 is because of experience. That worries me. The first series is because if they have to play Tampa Bay or who was the other one? Tampa Bay or Houston. The first playoff series, I worry about them. They'd be better off to finish second and play Minnesota or the other one. The other team.
Do you think? I want to genuinely ask this because I think it happens all the time. Do you think guys purposely start losing for those type of matchups?
I mean, I don't want to be that guy, but
I've seen it. I've seen it. When you look at the lineups, you're like, oh, healthy scratch for the day. Aaron Judge isn't playing, and it's like,
I mean, sometimes it kind of feels like that. It really does. Like, I mean, a lot of times when you're the top seed, you do sometimes get the favorable matchups. But like what Chris and Mr. Gonzalez were saying earlier, sometimes you just don't play well against certain teams. Like, it doesn't matter what seeding the Reds are. They always have this weird thing when they play Milwaukee. It's just a struggle for some unknown reason. Some teams are like that. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if, you start seeing all this up. Like you said, Mike, it's like, what, a month and a half before the season, before now you start getting into the thick of things.
Right.
There's a chance that some teams are looking and going, do I really want to
do just enough to get in, but not enough
to
see the good
think about it. Do you, if you're Houston, do you really want to make a push to win the division? I mean, granted, you have to play. You do have to probably play another series, but depending how it falls out, it might be easier to just play in the wild card.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and like you said, we've seen that before. We've seen that joint before. So, I mean, you feel me? I ain't gonna stitch on the teams because then I'm gonna be looked at as a hater, even though I am. But that's not the point. Like, I think that obviously there are some teams out there that don't really necessarily care. Right. They'll go, we'll take our chances with anybody.
Right.
But
like the Cubs right now, the Cubs are 2 games back. We just want to get there.
Here's my question. Here's my question on the Astros. Are they when it comes playoff time, are they going to be cheating or not? If they're cheating, I think they have a chance to repeat. If not, I don't think
that's a hater. He's a hater. He's a hater. Matter of fact, you know what we're gonna do? You know what we're gonna do?
You know what he's not though? He's not a liar. He's not a liar.
I'm gonna say this.
He might be a hater, but he's not a liar. He never told a lie.
I feel bad for Houston because I genuinely thought they would have won, and I feel like all they did instead of guaranteeing a win, all they did was make themselves look dumb. That's all they did.
I think they would have won too. I really
did. But now, you know what I mean?
I do too, but I got to give the Astro fans some shit.
You know what the craziest part was too? Like, if everybody remembers 2017, there was all the hurricanes and all the tragedies happening in Houston. So the entire country was like, fuck LA. Like, we're rocking with Houston. We were so happy for them. Like, everybody wanted Houston to win, unless you were obviously a hater of just Houston. But everybody was hype. Everybody loved Altuve. Everybody loved all these other guys. It's crazy. It's crazy. Gonzo, did you just explode?
No, it was Pops' phone. I don't know what he's doing over there.
He having fun. He living his best life, bro. I mean, look, I was
bestiality.
And the bad thing is I guarantee you the Astros wasn't the only team that was cheating.
No, yeah, like the Red Sox, the Yankees, it just no one cared because
that's it.
Astros did it first.
That's it. I'm back. Listen, Tuve called me. I'm back on retainer. Watch this. I'm gonna start defending him. Watch this. You guys are mad because you guys couldn't cheat. Okay? If you're not cheating, you're not trying. All right? They won. Your team sucks. I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear nothing about cheating when Cody Bellinger is hitting under 150 at home. Home my Nugget Studios.
Who is?
No. During the World Series. At home when they went back to LA, Cody Bellinger was back.
I hear you.
Yeah, I mean,
okay. My bad. I thought I caught a straight. I caught a straight.
No. I'm not talking about now. Right now,
Mike was getting ready to go off.
Yo, Mike is about to punch my throat. He's about to punch his screen. Like, yo, watch your mouth.
Belly bombs in this bitch, real quick. Watch your profanity.
But that's just me, though. Like, you know what I mean? Like, people want to give him shit. Well, why don't we give Dodgers a little shit too for being dog shit at home?
Clayton Kershaw. Playoff.
Yes.
Well, and that's why I don't give them a lot of shit is because of that. Because I know there's other teams doing it, and it's just like the steroid thing. People want to try to bury them guys. I don't bury them guys because baseball knew it was going on and they were encouraged. They encouraged it.
And I want to ask this
because it was winning the game back.
How can we as fans critique it when the MLB hasn't even addressed it? There's no asterisk. There's no real punishment for the players. They didn't take away rings. They didn't. I mean, so
they gave the players immunity for coming out and saying what happened.
Yeah, that's really what it was. And then they punished the team. They took some draft picks from them,
and they still got great prospects.
I mean, which I mean, shout out Houston for finessing the system because they lost their picks and somehow still got like totally great prospects.
Straight dry snitch. Commissioner
don't care anyway because it's just all they're doing is playing for a piece of metal. Remember?
Yeah. I mean, and listen. I'm not gonna diminish it because yes, they did cheat. 100% they did cheat. And like I said, I feel more bad because I thought they would have won. Had they not did it, all they did really was shoot their own credibility in the foot. And then that whole thing when it was like, I think the reason why people are more mad is the fact that when everything came out, they're kind of admitting they did it. Right. But then you guys like Carlos Correa at the time going, get over it. So what? Who cares? And it's like, respectfully.
Or denying it. He denied it.
Yeah. Like, think about this. You go and snitch yourself out, and then when the media asks you, no, I never said that. Oye, chico, watch how you talking to me, okay? And it's like, yo, Papa, we got you in 4K, bro. Like, we had the video on you, bro.
We got the
papi, no me, papi. Yeah, no me, papi. Oye, chico, eso no fue yo. Oye, te loco.
Titanium leg. I don't know.
Yeah, he starts speaking like, y'all watch George Lopez? He starts speaking like Angie's dad, like the Cuban. Oye, chico. And he just starts spewing out some nonsense stuff. And I'm like, yo, fam, you admitted you did it, right?
Right.
And I think that's what really rubbed people the wrong way. Because think about it.
They handled it poorly.
Yeah, like when A-Rod got caught for steroids, in the beginning, everyone was mad at him.
Right.
But he finally had a come to Jesus moment, said, I goofed up.
Come to J-Lo moment.
Yo, whoo! You thought Brady had a lot of rings? Who? Holla at J-Lo. But anyways, like, he had finally had this moment where he's like, I messed up, my bad, and then went on his redemption arc. Ryan Braun, y'all remember what he did? And eventually, he was like, all right, let me hold my L. Moved on, did his entire redemption arc, right? David Ortiz, when he got popped, people forget that he got popped.
Yeah.
Except the only difference with him, he immediately was like, "My bad, redemption." The problem with the Astros is they
Even
never.
Tatis to a point, you know.
Yeah,
once he owned it, people forgot about it.
Yeah, and once he owned it, everyone was like, "Okay, we're not gonna make fun of you for being a druggie." Now we're just making fun of you. Yeah, bro. When I heard that, I was like, "Yeah, bro, hold your L, bro. Curb your enthusiasm." But I think that's really the number one reason why no one ever really has forgiven Houston. Because think about it, George Springer was there, and the only reason why George Springer got away with it was because he immediately left.
He went to Toronto.
Yo, my man deported himself.
I gotta go.
And then after that, when they asked him about it,
you remember GTA when right after the heist in the beginning of the game, Michael fakes his death and then he goes to LA?
Yeah,
like George Springer. George Springer said he faked his death. He went straight to Toronto. Was never seen again.
But the difference is like when they asked George Springer, he was like, "Yeah, my bad." And then everyone was like, "Wait, that's it? Oh, okay." And then they moved on. You know what I mean? So it kind of was a situation where, like, had they just been like, "Our bad, you know, we shouldn't have done it." Had they done that from the beginning, I think we're having a different conversation. I don't think people would be like, "You cheated, that sucks." But I think they would be more likely to forgive them instead of Jose Altuve talk about, "Oh yeah, Chico, I'm MVP." Trying to be called Carlos Correa. Right. Like, get off your high horse, bro.
So I do believe that they would have beaten the Los Angeles Dodgers. I think the Dodgers were a little premature at that time. They were still kind of in that window of like, they didn't become this gauntlet of juggernaut pieces. They were still kind of learning how to play together. I think one thing first, I think what hurts more is, especially with New York fans, that Judge was the MVP before, obviously, Jose Altuve went on his run. And I think that definitely hurt because it's like you didn't just rob a World Series. You kind of fucked up everything and all of the awards for that year. So I think my question is for you guys, they could have beat the Dodgers. I think we can all agree that. But would they have beaten the New York Yankees in the ALCS? Because the Yankees had them on the ropes, and Altuve went out publicly and admitted the game they advanced because Aroldis Chapman throws the fastball or the slider, whatever it was. Altuve cranks out a home run and wins the game. He even said, "Yeah, I had a buzzer on in that moment, and I knew what he was throwing." Do you think with the Yankees having them on the ropes, having the lead at that time, do you think the Yankees would have made the World Series that year?
No. And Mr. Gonzalez, you and Chris, feel free to let me know if I'm tweaking. The only reason why I say no is because what has Aroldis, and you guys know him better because Aroldis Chapman was a Cincinnati Red before he went to Chicago, before he went to
the only time he ever really did anything.
In those situations, did he not love throwing heat? My man was throwing. He would throw 104 on the gun 5-6 times in a row. So it was like in that instant, you didn't need a buzzer.
And then
because you knew what he was going to throw anyway, which is why I go back and saying Houston shot themselves in the foot because you know Aroldis Chapman, does he have a couple other things in his repertoire? Sure. But he loves that. He loves throwing that heat. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like
I would say he would throw that fastball probably 60% of the time.
Exactly. And the only time he doesn't is when his arm is gassed out because my man's trying to hit 110 on the gun. Right. And then he'll go to that slider for a couple times, let his arm recuperate, which then puts him in like in a 3-0 a hole, and then he's got to start gunning it again. Mr. Gonzalez, am I bugging?
I don't think so. And I normally think you bug, but I don't think you're bugging right now.
So, I love the strays. I deserve it. I love it.
Breaking news: Alvin Kamara just got 3 games suspended for 3 games for the.
We can just do whatever we want nowadays, bro. That's absolutely crazy. We can just do anything. I can just walk outside and just punch somebody in the mouth. It's cool, I guess. It's fine. Don't worry about it. You know what it is?
Let me hear it. Go on.
I think he's been, you know, when that really bad kid in school just does bad shit every day. And at one point, the principal is just kind of like, I could suspend him 12, but he's not going to learn anything. Just give him 3. Just
give him the minimum just so that way.
Make the teachers happy. Do what you got to. Like, this guy. What are we doing? Miles Bridges is suspended a whole year for the same thing. And Alvin Kamara is just like, 3 games. Deshaun Watson, legally in court, didn't do anything. Nothing. You get 8 games. Alvin Kamara, yeah, I just punched somebody in the mouth at a club. Oh, okay. That's fine. Don't worry about it. 3 games. You'll be fine. What a time to be alive.
I don't know, man. I just think this one's kind of a little. I don't know, man.
What a time.
I don't know. I don't know.
He fought a dude, right?
Yeah, I think it was. Hold on. Let me fact check this because
If he,
before I say free Alvin, let me make sure because I was about to scream free Alvin for my fantasy. But let me pump the brakes.
Take Alvin, bro. Alvin will give you 0 touchdowns in 4 games, and then out of nowhere give you 6.
No, that's a lie. That's a lie.
6 and 1.
No, that's a lie.
You know what I mean?
That's a lie. That's
he
a
won't
lie.
be available, and then out of nowhere, bam! He's the best running back. He's the best.
That's such a lie. That's such a lie.
Not a lie.
That is a lie.
Look up the numbers. We could do
That
it.
is a lie.
We could do it right now. Share the screen.
Well, hold on. I gotta find out his thing first. Hold on. Just.
Okay.
Just
Well, he's looking
stand
at
by.
that. I want to ask my Colts brothers in here. I just got Yannick Ngakoue on a 10.5 1-year deal. Should I be excited? Am I hype? How'd you guys
think
feel
so.
about him?
I think that's a good pickup.
It's a good pickup. I hate to see that he isn't with the Colts no more. I think if I remember right, he had what 9
9.5.
I was gonna say 9.5 sacks last year. But no, that's a good pickup for the Bears.
Man, I think honestly,
And don't surprise me that he went to the Bears though because of
he was saying it.
That and Eberflus.
Yeah, but the weird thing was, so I was trying to, and I wanted to talk to you guys about it because I've been like trying to read as much as I can on it. Are they running the same system that Eberflus ran currently? Because they said that it would be an easy transition, even though they never played together. Like Matt Eberflus wasn't there when Ngakoue was, but it's relatively the same system that they're running currently.
Yeah. They didn't change. The Colts didn't change their system a lot when Eberflus left. They brought in
Bradley, wasn't it?
Yeah, Gus Bradley, and their systems are real similar.
That's dope.
So, okay. So
Yeah,
it was a
hit me with
dude.
it.
It was a dude. Supposedly, the stitch of the year, Darnell Green. First of all, if your name's Darnell, you deserve to get curb stomped and you deserve to lose your case. So I just want to throw it out there. There's a Darnell Green, and then Green has an E at the end. Hold your L, bozo. He was sued him because supposedly what happened was
Got his ass beat. Everybody sues when they get their ass beat. I've never heard a guy win a fight and sue somebody.
Ever in my life. So you definitely took a big L. Supposedly Alvin Kamara pushed Green before another male in Kamara's group hit Green in the face and knocked him against the wall. Kamara then hit Green several times, and then 3 others in Kamara's group then joined in, stomping on Green's face, chest, and legs.
Yeah.
Green said he was knocked unconscious, had an orbital fracture to his right eye, and other minor injuries.
I think that makes it worse.
Yeah, he's a bitch.
If it was like a one-on-one thing, or even just him and his buddy, I could get it. I could definitely get behind it. You had a group just curb stomp somebody.
Well, you gotta understand something too. This is something you also gotta understand too.
I gotta understand that.
No. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna
take a walk with you, bro. I'm gonna take a walk with you. I got my shoes on.
I'm a hooligan.
I'm in sports mode. I got my Crocs on, bro. I'm a
hooligan. Yeah, I'm a hooligan. Okay, I have engaged in tomfoolery, and I am a quote menace to society.
Oh God!
If I don't know you, and you don't know me, and you don't know my boy, and we are in a club, and you put your hands on my man, we beating the bricks off you. Now, if it's a situation where my man is beefing with you and y'all want to handle it, that's cool. That's fine.
6 of y'all gotta beat the shit out of him.
No, 6 times 2. What is that?
Oh my God.
And that's only half of us because we is coming for you, baby boy. Do not put your hands on my mans. Now, again, this is if we don't know. I'm just saying, like, he's my cash cow. Especially with how much money Alvin is. He my cash cow. You touch him, I'm touching you back, baby.
No,
in more ways than one.
And I understand
in more ways than one.
For Alvin to be a part of it, I feel like is what hurts because it's like
no. You want to know why?
If you have
I'm gonna put it to you this way. He pled no contest, got a lesser charge. He only got to pay $100,000 to the victim when Captain Bozo was trying to ask for $10 million. So you saved $900 million or $900,000, right? Or no, 9.9. Math is hard. I'm retarded. That's why I'm a hooligan. Okay, get off my nuts. Okay. This is why I work. Okay, get off me. All right. But he only has to do community service and just throw him a little bit of money to pay off his medical bills. Then 3 games. After that, guess what? My man out there got his position back.
I would get my ass beat for 100,000.
I wouldn't. No. You want to know why I wouldn't?
And is it 100,000 and you're paying my medical expenses? So
No. It's 100,000 for the medical expenses.
That ain't enough money.
That's all it is. He's only getting 100,000, and that's just to pay the medical expenses. If he gets anything, it's probably like 10,000. I don't know about you. I'm not getting beat up and then looking like a bitch going to the authorities and lawyers for 10,000. Out your cotton picking mine, boy.
It ain't even.
Yes, sir.
He's losing 30% of that to a lawyer.
Yeah.
And then tax.
What?
He'd be lucky. He'd be lucky to get 50,000.
If we're gonna be honest,
and that's not probably won't cover the medical bills.
He's still gonna have to make payments.
His lawyer sucked.
But I'm telling you this right now. You ain't gonna listen. If I get beat up, I better get a guaranteed at least $5 million. At least, because I ain't gonna go. Yo, Mr. Gonzalez, imagine this. Imagine you get beat up, and then you go to the authorities, and you make a whole hoopla, and you go and cry. He hit me. And you only have $100,000 to show for it.
There has to be more to the story, because why would you settle for a deal like that? If you're going to sue that, why would you settle for that?
The only way his pride said he hit him first. You know what I mean?
That's the only way you would shut up and settle this. Because you must, again, you're in a situation where you're drunk. He probably was drunk, put his hands on Alvin, didn't realize it
was playing in the background. Like,
yeah, you feel like you gotta understand something. Again, I'm a hooligan. I'm a menace. I'm tumbled. You feel me? You give me a drink or two. Oh, I'm talking sideways to my wife. Okay? I'll tell her I'll beat her up. Swear to God, I'll tell her I'll beat her up. Now, it doesn't matter that the fact that I don't and I end up getting myself beaten and then I start crying while playing Drake's old school stuff. That's not the point. The point is when you're drunk, you start feeling yourself and you start saying stupid stuff. I guarantee you he put his hands on him. Alvin Kamara said, all right, partner, I don't care. Because Alvin Kamara don't look like no first-class citizen, okay? Okay? Old buddy look like he'll kick you in your throat for a Dorito, okay? Respectfully. Yes, a Dorito. Not a bag, a Dorito. I'm talking about I will open the family size bag because I'm fat. I'll open the family size and say, yo, Alvin, you see your buddy over there? He'll look and he'll see just some random old white dude. I'll be like, he'll kick him in his throat. Without hesitation, he'll do it. Plot twist, it was Roger Goodell. But he won't care because he got a Dorito. He got a Dorito. So that's all he care about. See what I'm saying?
You go so well for an hour and 29 minutes.
Thank you.
Out of nowhere. Out of left field. It's just, there's a mark. I think this was the same thing that happened to us yesterday. It was the same thing. We started talking about homeless people at like an hour and 20. After an hour, we should just cut it. We should just cut the
Speaking of which,
get your money up, not your funny up.
110%. 110%. Bro, I
have to admit, when I got on the show today, I never thought I would hear anything about somebody getting throat kicked for a Dorito.
I'm telling you, bro, Alvin Kamara looked like, he'll soccer kick you for a Dorito.
You missed yesterday's. We said homelessness was a choice.
Did we really say that?
This is bad, bro.
Matter of fact,
yeah,
I don't care. Fire me. I know we did have a round homeless people.
It wasn't too crazy.
By the way, Mike started it. Just want the record to show.
It was. I forgot how I started it. I forgot what I did. I said we were talking about something, and I was like, it's kind of like when you're in the car. We stopped at a red light, right? And you look to your right, and you see a guy with a cup, and you just pretend you don't see him. She's like, I don't got nothing, bro. I'm sorry. But I forgot what we were talking about, bro. We were talking about baseball.
Wait a minute. Oh, my God. Yo, hold on. This makes it even worse. All right. So, Mr. Gunn, remember how you said the guy who represented Darnell Green?
Call my boy Tony.
Unless he lets me. Until then, he's Mr. Gonzalez. I'll call you Tony then. I've just been waiting for the permission.
He introduced himself to us as Tony. What are you talking
about? But, like, Tony, remember how you said the lawyer for that Darnell Green guy had to be dog shit? Remember how you said that?
Yeah.
You will never guess who represented him.
By himself?
No. Even honestly, I think this is even worse, considering that this same lawyer was just involved in a very prolific case just last year. Tony Bubsy. Old buddy who represented Deshaun.
Oh shit!
Bro, we gotta fire him. You gotta fire. You failed with Deshaun, and then you failed with this. Come on, bro.
Hey, I mean, to his point, he won back-to-back cases in the inevitable. You know what I mean? He's doing it.
We don't know all the circumstances, but I would say that lawyer probably told him to take out because if they went to court, he thought he was going to lose. That's the only thing I can think of.
He
Because
definitely would have lost.
yeah, so
Like to look at it from my perspective, right?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't, but from a law standpoint, I think you would say Alvin Kamara, even though he fucked up, he didn't commit a crime because he was hit first. Now the NFL, you're gonna get suspended just because that's how it is. You know what I mean? But from a law standpoint, well, they jumped me. Well, did you punch their boy? Yeah. Why'd you do that? I don't know. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know.
I thought that's what the conversation went to.
Right.
In this day and age,
Hey, Gonzo, did you walk into the police station with a gun and say nobody move? Yeah. Did they shoot you? Yeah.
Well, in this day and age, he's lucky he didn't get shot. You go up, hit somebody or at a bar or touch somebody at a bar. In this day and age,
so I've had conversations with Pride and his wife about it. Like, how's Chicago? I stay home. I don't go to the club. I don't go out anymore because people don't want to fight. People don't want to fight, bro. Like, let me ask you something. I paid $200 for a 17. Why am I throwing hands? Pride, make it make sense. I paid for the extra clip. Why am I throwing hands? First opportunity I get, I'm airing it out. That's how people think. Maybe it's how I think. Who knows?
We had a big shooting here where we live last Saturday night.
19 people shot.
Yeah.
By the way, every time Chris says something about a shooting, every single time, I just immediately think of that clip he showed where you guys were doing a show, and then out of nowhere in the back you hear the shot. Every single time he says something about a shooting, I just think of that clip, and it makes me just go, "Wow, that's crazy."
Yeah, that was only about probably 30 feet away from where we were sitting that night. That was crazy.
And my goofy nephew stands up and
check.
Yeah,
see if he was shot. The hell.
Oh Lord, man.
He's my nephew, and he's part Mexican, very little. But anyway,
very little.
He's got red hair. He looks like a fucking Irishman. What the hell?
Oh Lordy.
But he did. The shots went off. He stood up, started checking himself like he wouldn't know, like he wasn't gonna know if he was hit or not.
He looks like
you'll figure it out. You'll figure it out pretty quick.
I'll tell you who my nephew looks like. And Pride, you can go back and look at the clip. He and you know wrestling. He looks like Sheamus on crack. I do cry when I do.
Yo, does he look like Sheamus on crack? Oh man, yo, what a time to be alive, bro. By the way, I just want to say one thing right quick. Never mind.
You better say it, bro. You just took like a whole 10-second pause.
I forgot.
Way. No
shot. I swear to God.
You
like,
forgot.
I'm
forgot what happened. Like Darnell forgot what happened that he was on the ground getting curb stomped.
Oh God, bro. You forgot to remain conscious. That was me. Oh my Lord. Hold on. I'm gonna find it. Pause.
Resume?
No, bro.
That?
No, because I'm trying to like think of what I was gonna say. And then I had a mental lapse.
Time to go home. It's time to log up. It's time to.
GSR
starting.
I had a mental lapse, bro.
GS.
Oh no. This is for Tony and Chris. Mike, maybe you, but you don't like fighting because you know it hurts your fingernails. So I'm gonna talk to like the real men in the room.
Hurts your fingernails.
The real men in the room are 5 foot tall. Anyways, but
okay, and you got all that height just to be sitting down your whole life. Anyways, that's what I was saying. For also rudely interrupted.
That's so crazy, bro.
I know life is an anomaly, bro. Life is strange.
When I pull out this block, though, it's gonna be crazy.
Damn, that's crazy. I got 2 questions for y'all. Did y'all see Terrence Crawford versus Earl Spence?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna explain my takeaway, and I want you guys to explain to me whether or not I'm crazy. Earl Spence got to be dog shit, bro. He's got to be. Ain't no shot that he's as good as we thought he was. Because it's either that or Terrence Crawford is an all-time great. Because the way he just eviscerated him, he made Earl Spence look like me. And it's to the point that I don't know if you guys saw Earl Spence after the fight. My man was still in a daze. I remember one question, they asked him something simple, and my man started going on a tangent about this guy. Like, my man was double direct, bro. Is Earl Spence just overrated? Is Bud that guy? Did Earl just have a bad night? What do y'all think?
I think Crawford's the guy. I predicted that he was going to knock him out in the 9th round, and he did. But I never thought he was going to beat him like he beat him to death the whole fight, other than the first round.
And even then, it looked like Terrence gave him that round because he was like, "You said you're going to push me. I'm curious. Are you really going to be that aggressive?" And it's kind of like he was just seeing, and he was like, "Oh, okay. Oh, okay." And then round 2, he was like, "Hey, yo, bitch. For Wakanda." And he's stunning him with jabs. I'm like, me personally, if I'm the corner, I think it was like the 4th round, he got dropped, or Earl got dropped with a jab, I think it was. But after that, I'm throwing in the towel. I'm like, let's go. We out of here. We not doing this. We're not doing this, bro. Greg says Spence was high in that ring before he fight. I don't care what nobody says. Nope, he wasn't high, but Buddy sure as hell was punch drunk by the time we got to the 5th round, bro. Miz was punch drunk, bro.
He was punch drunk.
Yo,
and he wants to fight him again.
Yeah,
He wants to fight him again.
Well, and he trying to say that say it was because of health reasons or something.
Yeah.
But wasn't he the champion at welterweight?
He's got like 3 or 4.
He had a belt. He had a belt at that weight division.
Yep.
If I'm mistaken.
And usually you get interested in like a rematch or something, but that's not a rematch I'm interested in seeing because I think it's going to be the same thing.
I would say this, bro. I would say this 110%. I need to see him fight 3-4 more guys, get a little win streak going back before I even think about entertaining a rematch. This isn't one of those rematch. This is one of those rematches that makes you go, yeah, I want to see it now. This is something that, you need to rebuild the hype for it before this is even a conversation.
Yeah, because it's not like it was a close fight and he got caught.
No,
he was getting dominated.
He got beat to death.
Like, think about it. He only won round 1, and that was because and at the time I was a little confused because I thought maybe he's doing this. After like the 3rd, 4th round, it was unanimous. Oh, Terrence Crawford just wanted to see what he was going to do round 1. Because round 2, all the way till he stopped him, he didn't lose a single fight. Or a single round. So,
I thought they should have threw in the towel the 8th round.
100%. 110%. I have another question for you guys. Chris, I don't know if you were here. Remember when Jamal Hill won the UFC light heavyweight championship?
Yep.
And I was saying he's a bitch, he's a bum, and all that stuff. He had a quote unquote injury, little pussy. I am 110% convinced and if I'm wrong, I want you guys to let me know. I think he's scared of Yuri. I think as soon as he realized he had to fight Yuri, that's why he ended up vacating the belt. Now, here's the question I have. After seeing what Alex Pereira did in his fight against Jan Blachowicz, right? Which I thought it was a very interesting match, right?
I'll be honest with you. I thought Pereira lost that fight.
I thought so too, but it comes down to the same thing. The same thing I've said about when it comes to Marvin Vettori. Same thing I'll say about Colby Covington. You can take me down if you want. But if you just take me down and then don't move and you don't do anything, I am not giving you that round. The only way I'll give you that round is if you the bell rings or the horn sounds and immediately shoot for a takedown, you immediately take him down, and then you hold him down for the entire round. Then, okay, fine, I'll give it to you. But if I'm looking at a situation where on the feet you're getting pieced up, and then you go for the takedown, and then stand there or lay there just doing nothing, I comfortably cannot give you that round. That's just me. I cannot, because you're not doing anything. All you're doing is picking them up, bringing them to the ground, and then you're stopping. If you're hitting and you're trying to work transitions, that type of thing, now you got something. Now it's like, okay, like Damian Maia. Damian Maia will bring you to the ground, sure, but his working stuff, He's working on transitions. He's trying to do something. So now it's like, okay, he's not just dry humping you. Like, he's really trying to do something. And that's the problem I had with Jan Blachowicz. And mind you, at the time, I wanted Jan to win because I do want to see him have one more run at the top before he's got to hang it up because he's 40. But there's no way I can comfortably say you won when all you're doing is picking the dude up, bringing him down. And you're not even slamming him. You're putting him down like I put my kids down for when they go to bed. It's like, oh, you ready? 1, 2, 3. Whee! Okay. And that's it. So it's like, personally, I don't think I'm not mad that Jan lost. I'm really not.
Who wins Saturday night, Diaz or Paul?
I'm going Diaz.
He has to. He's got to, bro. I don't know, bro. I honestly, I'm not gonna watch it. Me personally, I don't really like any of that stuff. But I will say Nate, I want to see him. I just want to see him come back, bro.
I think one thing with Nate that is going to help him is he has boxing experience. He's not like some of these other MMA guys that's never boxed.
You say that, and then an article the other day, I read an article that said, what's the rules? I really don't know the rules.
That's just Nate being Nate.
Okay. So what the hell? You don't know the rules? They said you box.
That's just Nate being Nate. Like he got up yesterday and walked out in the middle of a promo interview with Helwani.
He just does not care, bro.
Jake Paul started talking. He sat there for like 20 seconds and got up and said, I'll be back, and just left.
Never did. Yeah, he never did. He never did come back. But I don't blame him. You know. But like, you know, for me, it's just like I don't take it serious. I really don't.
I'll watch it because I'm a Diaz fan. I've been a Diaz fan for years.
I think that's the only people who are really watching this. Either like the YouTube kids who still think Jake Paul could fight, which has been proved because he fought Tommy Fury, lost, and Tommy Fury's not even good. Let's just get that elephant out the way. Even Tommy Fury really wasn't good, which is why his dad said, "Bro, if you lose this, you're done. You're not boxing anymore. Like I will beat you out of retirement." And Tyson Fury said the same thing, "Bro, we'll beat the shit out of him.
We'll beat him and have to retire."
Yeah, they're like, you will not want to fight ever again. So it's like I'm not really paying mind to that. I just hope Nate doesn't really waste too much time doing this because I do want to see him kind of have one more run in the UFC. You know what I mean?
Real quick, what'd you think about Gaethje and Poirier?
I loved it, bro. It made me excited.
I took Gaethje to win it, but I didn't think it was going to be that quick. But man, it was. Whew.
No, I had Gaethje winning. I thought he was win by knockout. I just thought it was going to be a situation where, like, both of them were going to be swinging for the fences and then, you know, that reckless style Gaethje loves, and then Gaethje would just clip Dustin. What I love about what I saw a calm, a technical Justin Gaethje who did that, like, his little reckless style. He was doing it in spurts. He's not just depending on it. If it gets to recklessness, sure, he'll do it. But he's using the recklessness, which is weird to me. He is using that reckless style to keep you at bay a little bit and then to kind of escape to set up good, clean, technical precision boxing, which is wild to me because I never thought I would ever see Justin Gaethje do that ever in my life. I never thought I would see him do that. And honestly, bro, now, I understand you already got Charles and Islam. I think they're fighting in Abu Dhabi. So that fight's already set, which is cool. Justin Gaethje needs next. Because people were talking about if Dustin wins, he's going to get another opportunity, which I thought would be bizarre. If that's the case, bro, Justin Gaethje needs another chance. Because Conor and Michael Chandler are fighting. Beneil Dariush just already lost. So it's kind of like you're running really out of people. And the last time Justin Gaethje really was in that conversation was when he was in the interim champ and got choked out faster than I do when I'm piping my wife to Khabib. So it's like, you feel me, bro? Like, I'm giving Justin Gaethje this opportunity. By the way, if anyone thinks I was joking, nah, I wasn't. I was serious.
Mike, you don't watch fighting, do you?
I watch boxing.
Oh, you want? Oh! Did you see the Earl Spence and Crawford fight?
No, I didn't. I'm in Cubs mode right now. I'm sorry, but I'm on my way. I'm learning. I'm trying to get better. And that's the difference. I love Rob Scott. When they talk about baseball, Rob Scott here, he leaves. I stayed. I heard the whole thing. I'm engaged. I'm there. I'm trying to understand.
He's out of here.
I'm just not there yet. You feel me? I don't have a input on it because it's kind of like when I first got into soccer. Pride said it yesterday. Hey, Messi or Ronaldo? If you would have told me 2 years ago, I wouldn't have said nothing about it. Now I have a different view. But I'm a sponge right now. I'm just learning from Pride.
Right, you watching SummerSlam Saturday night?
Oh, I have to.
He's gonna be SummerSlamming his wife. Yeah.
I mean, I can't though, because like, I got no game at all. But you know what?
Yeah.
That's right. I'm gonna last me 7 seconds.
Yeah.
Then watch SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna be bored and have nothing else to do.
Yeah.
While I reload to go another 7 seconds.
Yeah.
Let's get it, bro. BT Dubs. I found the perfect thing to describe my sex life.
She's gonna have to go into another room and just do it all herself anyway. Pride's not there. Pride's like, it's SummerSlam time.
Yeah, leave me alone. I see. I say that, but I only say that not really because I just know I won't satisfy her, so I just kind of go handle yourself, do your job. But yeah, I'm watching SummerSlam, 100%. I'm watching SummerSlam. I'm gonna be there. Well, not there.
Be there?
No, I wish. I just said that to sound cool for a second, but I lied.
What a loser.
But I'm gonna watch it. I think top to bottom, I really like this card. I think it's a banger of a card. The only abomination, the only mistake, the only match that should be aborted, and have one of the participants drug out into 8 Mile, and just left there, whatever, because I don't want nothing to do with it. It's Logan Paul and Ricochet. Did you hear what Logan Paul tried to say to try to make it seem like a banger? Yo, your girlfriend, Samantha Irvin. Hey, Samantha. She's gonna call my name after I win the match. I hope you don't get mad. I'm like, bro, that's like an 8th grade thing. Tell her to be like, oh yeah, your girl gonna scream my name. You should have said that. Maybe I would have been on your side, but now he's mad scared. Oh, let me be nice, bozo. But yeah, no, top to bottom. Gunther. I wish the only thing I would want to wish, and maybe Tony, Chris, if I'm bugging, let me know. Gunther versus Gable would have been the match I really wanted to see.
Yeah, I'd like to see that again. That was a hell of a match last week.
Yeah, like that. And I didn't realize I really wanted it until I saw it, and I'm like, yeah. Oh, we should have had this. Like, honestly, and again, I think I'm a little biased because I do love me some Chad Gable.
I think Gable's underrated.
Way underrated.
Oh my God! I think about if you can make Shorty G work, you're in my Hall of Fame. Yep. Ipso facto. By the way, David Byrne says, "So glad Crawford won." Yeah, honestly, I'm just more upset and disappointed that it was a blowout. Like, I thought Earl Spence had a legitimate thing. And like I said, I believe Earl Spence really wasn't that guy. It's got to be. Because as much as I want to give Crawford all the credit in the world, which he deserves, Earl Spence has to have some sort of – he's got to have some sort of –
I think it's a combination of both. I think Crawford is maybe a little bit better than what we thought, and Spence isn't quite as good as we thought he was.
Dude, it was crazy. I'm looking at a guy who's stunning fools with a jab consistently, not just once or twice accidentally. I'm talking about straight up. Oh, you want to come? Boop. Like usually jabs is just like a rangefinder for you to try to set something up. Terrence Crawford is using it as a legitimate weapon.
Yeah, and I thought Crawford would win, but I thought it'd be a decent fight. I didn't think he was going to dominate like that at all.
Well, I thought he was going to knock him out, like I said, with 9 rounds, but I never thought he would beat him like that. I thought, it'd be a pretty good fight.
Well, Spence had never been knocked down before.
He beat him to death, man. He beat him to death.
David says, Spence talked a good game, but Crawford put his hands on him. Crawford's hands did the talking. Yeah, and I think that's why, for me, why I kind of was a little underwhelmed. Like, a lot of this, and honestly, I don't blame Spence, too, because he did do what he said he was going to do. He said he was going to be aggressive. He said he was going to push a tempo. I mean, he did do a lot of the stuff that he said he was going to do. So it's kind of like, that's why I don't think there's anything different Spence could have done. I just think he's a B-plus player fighting against an S-tier guy. You know?
I think Crawford's the best out there right now. I don't think there's anybody better than him right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's, and you know, again, like, if I'm mistaken, isn't he the only welterweight who's unified all the belts? I think he's like the eighth. I think he's the 8th fighter in the four belt era. But I think in terms of hitting his weight division, I think he's the first guy to do it.
Yeah, I think it was the. I think you're right. I think he is the only one done in the welterweight. I think I heard that yesterday.
Yeah, I could have sworn I heard it, but and I'm starting thinking, I'm like, no, I'm like, it's wild, and it's kind of crazy because you kind of forget that Bernard Hopkins did it too. You forget because of like, I think he did it in 08? Like, you forget that he did it in his division. It's just wild, but you know, listen, Terrence Crawford. Where does Terrence go from here? I mean, Earl Spence got to run away from the division. I know he said he's moving up. I know he did say he's moving up. So it's like, where does Terrence go from here?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he has any competition. I really don't.
I don't think so either. I think whatever he does is just insane.
Well, all right. Clyde, was there anything else you wanted to touch on before we get out of here?
One thing. Imagine being an unselfish player and leading the all-time stats in the most selfish stats. Yes, I'm talking about LeBron James. If he's not your GOAT, you don't know what you're talking about.
What David said something real quick.
Floyd tried to throw his hat back in the ring for a possible Mayweather versus Crawford fight. I don't. Respectfully, like, Floyd don't want that. Floyd don't want Floyd. If Floyd's, I don't.
Not this stage.
I did hear Floyd say some stuff like that. I think he was joking. For his safety and well-being, he better be. I will say that.
Now, if they were both in their prime at the same time, I'd love to see
that. Would have been a fight. That would have been a fight to see. Let me tell you.
But not at this age.
Not at this. That would. But at the same time, he did fight. He did fight someone in Japan who was in their prime. Sure, it was an exhibition, but Floyd did kind of handle that okay. So maybe we could get 6 rounds out of Floyd against Terrence Crawford. I'm talking about now, by the way.
That might be the biggest money fight for Crawford.
Oh, my. If he wants to do money, just be like, yeah, I'm going to do an exhibition. Because that would be big.
Yeah, because Crawford, I mean, there's no big money fights out there for him, I don't think.
Oh, my Lord, bro. That'd be crazy.
Yeah, I don't know who will fight next. I don't think there's really nobody out there right now. Not that people are going to think have a legitimate chance of beating him.
No, not at all. Not at all. I think, and plus, I think where he's at too. I mean, Terrence Crawford, and this is just me. If I'm wrong, let me know. I think Terrence Crawford is in a situation where he can take a year off or a year and a half and just chill out. You know what I mean? Like where he's at right now, like it's wild, bro. You know, and again, like you said, Earl Spence wants a rematch. I'm 100% in the camp that Earl needs to go on another win streak to kind of, you know, unless, because I don't know if you guys heard when Spence said he wants the rematch, he did say 154 was the number. Is it possible that 150, them both being at 154 is the difference? I personally don't think so. I've seen this first fight and seeing not only the power but the technique that Crawford had.
I don't think make a difference.
I think if anything, instead of going down to the 9th, he goes down to the 7th. I think that's the only reason. I think that's the only difference. Other than that, but
Dang,
I don't know, man.
Crawford and Shakur Stevenson.
I don't think Stevenson's ready for Crawford.
I don't either.
Maybe in a couple of years, maybe.
I mean,
And Stevenson big enough.
I was about to say isn't he like he's what, a lightweight, super featherweight?
I don't think he's big enough. I mean, I
No,
could be
he's
wrong.
not. No, he is not. And besides, if I'm Shakur, I'm not looking at Terrence Crawford respectfully. I'm looking at Tank. That's who I'm looking at if I'm Shakur. If I'm Shakur, I'm looking at Tank. I'm seeing what Tank did to Ryan Garcia, and I'm going to go, man, we could do something special here.
Yep.
So if I'm Shakur, that's what I want. You know what I mean? A lot of people also think, because I know Shakur also called out Aloma, which I will see this in my dying breath. Loma beat Devin Haney. I will scream that to my dying breath. But, you know.
Hey guys, I just looked at this. That Spence and Crawford did 650,000 pay-per-view buys, earning each fighter $25 million.
Golly, bro. Crawford versus Charlo? The Charlo twins are what? They're I mean,
I don't think Charlo wants anything from Crawford.
I mean, they could make it work. Cause I think which one is the champ? The one that just got stripped. I think it's Jamel.
I think so.
I think so. Yeah, I don't think Charlo is ready for Crawford.
No.
That's the problem, though. I don't know, like you said, I don't think there's there ain't hardly nobody that is right now.
I'm looking. They said the top 4 people. They've got that Jerron Boots Enos. Of course, the guy just fought. Is one of them. Jamel Charlo. I don't think he has a chance myself. I don't know much about Enos. And then Tim Titsu. So I don't know.
All right. Well, did you have anything else before we get out of here for today?
No, I'm good.
Join us here in a little bit. We'll have the Easy Money and Sports Betting Show. Give us a few minutes. We'll be back because we went a little longer. Got talking about fighting and stuff. So, but this has been the ASAP Afternoon Blitz. Please hit that subscribe button on YouTube at Gonzo Sports Room. Like and follow Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram at Gonzo Sports Room as well. And also at the ASAP All Sports All Plays Network. Check them out on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter. Also the ASAP Sports Network app you can find on at the Apple Store, Google Play, Amazon, Roku. Check it out as well. Appreciate Mike Hughes and Pride coming on today. And we will see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow's Saturday.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys Monday with another episode of the ASAP Afternoon Blitz, Monday right around 1 p.m. Eastern. Hope everybody has a great weekend.